What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so let's talk about this. So on that podcast that was started by Rich Paul and Max Kellerman, who has sold his soul to the devil, I believe it's called Game Changer, I think it is. Max Kellerman talks about why, in his opinion, Kevin Durant's championships with the Warriors are not as meaningful as he puts it, LeBron's title with Cleveland, because essentially he feels like KD formed a super team, an unbeatable super team, so that short of Cleveland signing Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, they really didn't have any shot at winning. So what he's saying is KD's championships are tainted because he essentially joined a team that was unbeatable, a team so grossly above the normal level of talents allowable in the NBA that it really shouldn't even count like a normal, like it was so competitively unfair, right? And this is what he had to say about this.
One of my favorite players, by the way. I'm not picking on him because I don't like him or something, but I'm telling you how I feel about it and how I think about it. In KD's case, the championships are not like, for example, LeBron's championship in Cleveland, is because instead of demonstrating the thing that I just said, he entered a situation where that team is now so much better, probably than any team ever, that there's no way for them, if they're healthy, for them to lose. They can't lose. Did LeBron James and the Cavs, who had an excellent team that year, have a shot against that Warriors team? Was there a chance in hell they could beat that team?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Do you agree, yes or no, that they had a chance in hell, or they did not?
I do think they had a chance. Yes.
Really?
I do think they had the chance because
Really?
Yes, really. Because
they got stomped out.
Yeah, but in a series, the series is a lot closer than the end result of whether it was 4-1 or 4-0. Because if you win, there's momentum swings in series. If you win game one versus the charge call or whatever the case may be, if it's a tie series 1-1 going into game three, now that team steals home court advantage.
There's nothing, I hear you normally, but not again. Rich, but they had Steph and KD and Clay and Dre. It was over.
Listen, I'm not that person. I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, just because you had names. No. That Golden State Warriors won that series fair and square.
Okay, time out.
And they
in the year before, LeBron James, in one of the greatest games and moments and comebacks in the history of American team sports, at the peak of his powers, give or take, with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, was fortunate that Draymond Green lost his cool and got suspended, that they were able to come back and they won.
I disagree with that too. There's no
strike that from the record. I don't even.
But here's what I'm saying. That comment that you guys make, that's people trying to discredit.
I agree. But by the way, LeBron goaded him into making that mistake. So that's part of the game. I'm with you. My point is, it took everything and then some to barely overcome that team the year before. And then they added Kevin Durant. It's over. There's nothing you can do.
Let me tell you something.
Unless you added, Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, there's nothing you can do.
There's something you could do. You can come back the next year and get better. And this is what I try to
as a franchise, you're saying.
This is what I try to explain to you. Okay, they came back from 3-1 and won. They went and got Kevin Durant and won. Oh, we need to get better to come back and combat what they did. Oh, we can't. Why? Because we don't have the capabilities to. That's it. That's the ball game.
Okay, but you're talking again about the point of view of the franchise. Stay with KD. With the evaluation of KD. KD overall skills, maybe the best player ever. right? Both sides of the
This
ball,
is where-
overall package, maybe the best player ever. But he is not considered by almost anyone the greatest player ever, because the way you prove greatness is through leading a team to a championship, but because he parachuted into the championship and put them
He didn't
so far
parachute
over
in.
he put
Anything
them
could
so
have happened.
far over the top they could not lose.
That team started with 0-0 win column loss, just like everybody else. Anything could have happened. And if something would have happened that prevented them, you guys would be saying different. That's where commentators and analysts and pundits differ from experts. That's the difference, because anything could happen. It's an 82-game regular season.
You know what happened?
And there's a playoff.
2 consecutive years, they stomped out everybody.
Okay, great.
That's what happened.
Yes, well, they were.
And then you know when they didn't stomp out everyone? When KD got hurt. Now he's not available. Now.
All right, so I've heard enough of that bullshit, man. So what this is really essentially is Max Kellerman and Rich Paul both playing the same game, but pretending to be at odds with each other. Max Kellerman, by critiquing Kevin Durant in this scenario, is basically trying to excuse LeBron James' NBA Finals losses to the Warriors in 2017 and 2018. Okay? Rich Paul, by countering, those games were not really as big as blowouts as you think they were. That's him taking up for his boy, saying that, little moments, little swing moments could have made that series more competitive. If it wasn't for that, they could have, did the so-called unthinkable and won that series. All I know is that in the last 2 finals of LeBron James' career as a Cavalier, he only won 1 out of 9 games. That's all I remember. He won 1 out of 9 games. And that one game that he won was when he was playing with Kyrie. That's it. Okay? This is how I feel about this, all right? This whole situation, this whole argument. Can't the same thing be said about LeBron going to Miami? Can't the same argument be made that LeBron going to Miami, forming a super team, totally slanted everything in Miami's favor? I mean, you had LeBron James at the peak of his powers. You have Chris Bosh at the peak of his powers, although he's the one that had to change his game the most. You have Dwayne Wade near the end of his prime, but still close to the peak of his powers at the beginning. As a matter of fact, I believe, the year before LeBron joined, Wade was second in MVP voting, I think it was. Wade was, a year or 2 removed from a scoring title? Wade was just 4 years removed from a finals performance where he had, a shout out to McTavian for this one, the highest scoring average ever for a winning MVP of the finals outside of Michael Jordan. But they make it seem like he was just playing with role players, LeBron and Ramon James. So we can say the same thing about LeBron Miami. The sad thing about it is LeBron played like such shit in games 4, 5, and 6 of the 2011 NBA Finals that they blew a series they were supposed to have won. That series was nobody's fault except LeBron James's. And that's the facts. Those are facts. Now, going back to this team with Kevin Durant, they were great, but they weren't unbeatable, in my opinion. They weren't unbeatable. Keep in mind, The 2016 Warriors won 73 games. 2017 Warriors team with Kevin Durant won 65 games. The 2018 Warriors, I think they won like 61 games or something like that. And I think the year when he got hurt, I think they went 57-25. So increasingly, their wins total drop each season. And why is that? Because one of the things that people forget about this team is that while the Warriors gained Kevin Durant, they lost a lot of their depth. They lost a lot of their bench. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were a great team, but they weren't unbeatable. They weren't unbeatable. They lost more games in the Kevin Durant era than they did the first 2 years they went to the finals. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I'm not playing that game here. If Kevin Durant's championships don't count, if those titles are vastly overrated, then LeBron James's titles with Miami are vastly overrated. Hell, we can make the argument. No, we got to make the argument. Shit, we've already made the argument that the bubble title is overrated. I mean, who they play in the finals again? Miami? Wasn't Miami the 8th seed? Miami, who was dealing with injuries to Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo. Jimmy Butler was drained to death. LeBron was stat padding, taking shots away from Anthony Davis so he could win Finals MVP. He blew a game. That was a series that they were supposed to sweep originally, but LeBron blew one of the games to the point where Miami was able to come back and win because he was stat padding so bad. Nah, man, that's bullshit. But anyway, that's how I feel about this situation. Don't get me wrong, man. I got my issues with Kevin Durant, but we're not going to pick and choose here. We're not going to try to discount Kevin Durant's titles and say they don't really count. Nah, we can't do that. LeBron James is the one that created the culture to make it cool and acceptable to collude with other players to go join super teams. He did that. So I don't know why they even fixed their mouths, even had a discussion about KD like he's the one that started it. KD ain't the one that started that trend. He didn't start the fire. That was LeBron James that did that. But this is another one of their tricks, man. This is how they try to, you know what I'm saying, rewrite history. That's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.